Friday night and Saturday morning, time for us to go to Super Netball and a little bit of AFL fantasy with Karl Carrington, who's with me in the studio. Hey, Karl, how are you?
Very good, Wayne. Pleasure to join you.
Oh, now, I was told by Jace Regan when he just stepped out of the studio a few moments ago, he said, ask Karl about his AFL fantasy and just how far he's behind me. Now, there might be some transference here. I've been giving him a bit of stick about my AFL footy tips and how far I am in front of the great stat man, and yours truly, yourself too included in this.
Yep.
So, how far are you behind on the fantasy?
A little bit behind. I'll just leave it at that.
Are we talking a couple $100,000?
No, there's no real point commenting on it.
No
really.
Panic? No panic in the camp?
No panic stations. Yeah, it's only sort of a third into the season, so still plenty of time, Wayne.
Oh, plenty of time. Well, that's what he's told me too on the footy tipping. He's coming from behind to take me, but I'm going to say it's going to take some very clever tipping. But let's have a look at the moment now at the Super Netball, and the Thunderbird girls had an opportunity to get some premiership points. They played the other lowly side, the Collingwood Magpies, and the Magpies were victorious 60-56.
Really easily their best opportunity here for the Thunderbirds to claim the points, and they fall short because again their offense just isn't ticking along, and the Magpies got the chocolates in the end. The Thunderbirds have a great sort of mid-court game going, headlined by Hannah Petty, who's been mentioned on this show numerous times. But yeah, their interception work and their mid-court work is really strong, but offensively they're just really struggling, and you're not going to win many games in Super Netball if you can't sort of score, 60 points.
And, of course, the defensive unit is reasonable too, because 60 goals by Collingwood is no disgrace. The other scores from the other clubs are all around this same level.
Yep. The
Thunderbirds are just offensively can't get their scoring going. They need to get that third person off the bench too to relieve and get good score out of them.
Exactly. They're lacking a real, attacking a goal attack player, but also a goal shooter, someone who can consistently score, 30 to 40 points per week. So yeah, that's their real weakness at the moment. All
right, no weakness in the Fever. They are 3 from 3, 69 over the Lightning, 54, who were really good, the Brisbane Lightning, the week before. So this Fever side from the West Coast, they're going to soon be mounting challenge for the top 4.
Absolutely, they've made no sort of room for error in climbing up that table, starting with that 3-game deficit at the start of the year because of the salary cap breaches. So yeah, they're just playing beautifully and really are the premiership favourites, and they're coming up against the Thunderbirds this week, which we'll touch on in a second, which could be a cricket score.
Well, wait and see how high they can go. But the Vixens are the big surprise from Melbourne. They took on the New South Wales Swifts. The Swifts 55, the Vixens 43. Vixens look like there could be a side that could drop from being a finalist last year to maybe not making the 4.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have the Vixens in my top 4 at the moment, and I don't think many people would. They've really sort of fallen off this year, and those key retirements, as I've mentioned, have been sort of the downfall of that.
Okay, the last one was the Giants beating the Firebirds 67-60. I reckon both of these sides are going along okay.
Yep.
Both could be challenging for that top 4.
Yeah, but both are going, reasonably well, and I think the Giants sort of just got over the line with the home crowd advantage, and they're flying at the moment.
They're at the top of the table with 12, look like a finalist side with those 3 games, 3 wins. Swifts in second place. They're doing well. The 2 New South Wales sides out the front, as are the Lightning. They've come up with their 2 wins from 3 games. The Firebirds are there, the best, if you like, of the rest. Magpies come as the first side out. Then the Fever, of course, which we know are coming from a deficit of 3 games, but are from a deficit. Thunderbirds and the Vixens. Interestingly enough, the Vixens are on the bottom of this ladder below the Thunderbirds because of percentage. So the Thunderbirds, as I said, have been playing okay, not getting beaten by big margins. The Vixens have been getting beat by even bigger margins than the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, they have, but I still see the Vixens as a better outfit compared to the Thunderbirds. I think that their experience, they made the finals last year, and they made the final last year, I should say, the Vixens did. So, yeah, I still think they would claim the points when they play the Thunderbirds, if and when that is.
Okay, good matches. Magpies and Firebirds both wanting a win to keep that place close to that top 4.
Yeah, I'm going to predict the Firebirds to win this one, Wayne. The Magpies, they did get a good win last week against the Thunderbirds, but the Firebirds will be too strong.
On the premiership table, you'd think these two sides in 6th and 7th, the Fever and the Thunderbirds, would be a close one, but you've tipped that this could be the cricket score. I don't know. It might be a 2020 cricket score, maybe. Yeah. We might get to 75-80. I mean, are you prepared to go out on a limb and say that the West Coast Fever, what sort of goals do you think they'll score?
Well, the Fever, they could possibly score more than 75 points in this game easily because of one lady and one lady alone in Fowler, who has just been on fire and is scoring 50 points off her own back continuously throughout the first 3 rounds of this season. So, and carrying on from previous seasons, she's easily the best goal shooter in this competition, and yeah, she should have a field day this week.
All right, a field day. Will that be the New South Wales Swifts field, or will it be the Lightning field? It's a big game. The Sunshine Coast Girls, can they come back and beat the New South Wales Swifts?
Yeah, I'm going to back in the Swifts in this one. I did have them as premiership favourites in the preview I did before any of the rounds got going. So, yeah, I'm going to back the Swifts.
Okay, top versus bottom here. This is incredible. The Vixens on their home court at John Cain Arena. They take on the Giants, these top-of-the-table Giants who have been amazing, the Western Sydney Giant Girls. So I'm going to go with the Giant Girls to beat the Vixens and continue the pain for them.
Yeah, definitely. Giants for me all day.
It might just be a little bit of my favouritism, though, coming out. I do actually like the Giants in the footy as opposed to the Melbourne D's and so forth. And there might be just a bit more coming through there. All right, quick tip on the fantasy. Obviously, we just mentioned that you're going horribly, so don't follow anything that Karl says here if you do your AFL fantasy. Who are you getting rid of and who are you keeping?
Yeah, look, I'm more than happy for the listeners to tune out at this point because, yeah, as I said, my fantasy team is all over the shop at the moment. But in my trades, I will be doing a bit of a double downgrade just to bank up some cash so then I can go bang bang next week and get some good plays in my side, Wayne.
So have you got Brody Grundy and Big Mac Scorn, the two best ruckmen going around in the last 2 seasons of AFL? You picked them both. Did you think about maybe going for a lesser-known unsung ruckman to try and maybe balance it out?
No, I did, definitely, to save some cash, and that would have allowed me to upgrade some of the other areas of my team. But sort of having that security of having both of those gun rocks at the start of the year and just throughout the year,
no risk taking,
is what I've done.
And
so
you've paid for the fact you didn't take enough risks, haven't you? Is that that's the theory, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I wouldn't have changed my rucks. I would have kept both of them. Maybe in other areas of my team, maybe in defense, I should have gone a little bit lighter on the good defenders that I did pick. But yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting season. Any big tip for the weekend in AFL footy matches that you've got? Like you got something you might sway me on? Richmond and Brisbane. Of course, if you're listening to Saturday morning, you'll know the result. Who are you going for?
Well, just mentioning, speaking on your Giants tip, I'm thinking the Giants against West Coast this week.
Okay.
They are at home, the Giants, so it'll be a big game for the travelling West Coast Eagles.
Shannon Hearn back into the Eagles for Jerry McGovern, so that's a good like for like. I've gone for the West Coast here, so let's see how we go.
This could be one that could get me back in the race for the tips,
Yep, all right. From 5 behind, you're coming back, all right. I love it. It is a good look at Super Netball for the weekend. A bit of AFL fantasy with Karl Carrington.